Hi, everybody. This is Jill for today. Thanks for coming into my kitchen. And we're off and running again around the world in 80 breads. Today we're going to Britain. We're going to England, and we're going to make some scones with some currants in them. There are a bazillion scone recipes. I have made scones myself, pumpkin scones, all kinds of scones, and they are in my Jill for Today library. So if you're interested in other kinds of scones, go ahead and check that out. But today it's going to be kind of your really basic, I'm hoping, British scone. So we're going to get started here. There's several steps. None of them are difficult. We're going to start first of all with the wet ingredients. And what I've got in here is some milk, and I'm using whole milk. A lot of recipes call for cream, but I thought that might be a little excessive. So I'm going to put an egg in here, and I'm going to beat this up. Get that up. There we go. Okay, I should have never used a measuring cup, but that's what I did. All right, now we're getting that. Now we're getting the action we want. All right, that's good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang back about 2 tablespoons of this so we can put it as a glaze on top of them. So I'm going to measure out 2 tablespoons here, and I'm going to just set that aside. And I'm going to set this aside because now we're going to get into the dry ingredients. I'm going to wipe that down so we've got a nice clean board to work with. Now here I have some flour. Again, I use unbleached, but it's just your all-purpose flour. And here I have some baking powder, some sugar, some salt, and I think that's it. Salt, baking sugar, baking powder. And I will have all the ingredients and the measurements in that description box down below, so you don't have to try to keep track here. So I'm going to get this all mixed in. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. And now I'm going to add some cubed butter. So that's nice and cubed and still cold. I'm just going to toss this around. Now, I sometimes have used my food processor to, make this a crumbly kind of thing. This recipes that I've seen, they all say the same thing. Oh, use your fingers. Don't get too aggressive with it because you'll melt the butter. But this is claimed to be the best way to do it. So I said, okay, let's keep as authentic as we can. So I'm going to continue this until I get, really broken down. They always say cornmeal, what does cornmeal look like? But I'll work on this, and once I've got it completely incorporated, I'll get you back. So I have spent a few moments getting this broken down. This works. If you've got a food processor, go ahead and use it. I would next time, but I did get a nice crumb here, and it didn't take very long. There is my oven, and it's just come on to be, telling me that it's preheated, and that's 4 1/4. So you have that, and your rack's going to be in kind of the middle position. All right, now I have got some currants here, and currants are just tiny little raisins. I mean, it's a variety, but that's really what it is, a tiny little raisin. If you don't want to get currants, which I did find in our local supermarket, Sun-Maid is the brand I found. You don't have to add these if you don't want to, or if you have raisins and you don't want to go to the trouble of, getting currants, then that's fine. I'm just going to toss these in here, get them coated with the flour mixture. Okay, now we're going to bring in that liquid again. And the recipe says to fold it in with a spatula. So that is what we're going to do here. Get my towel out of the way. And as you see, I'm just tossing the bowl in a round motion, and just kind of, that's more of a folding. This is more of a folding technique when you go down to the bottom and come up to the top. That's, when you're doing eggs or mixing egg whites into something, that's really a more folding motion. Get a little of this off of here. And it's to come into a moist mixture, moist ball, and that's really where we're at. Try to get all that flour there. done a pretty good job. A little wet in there. Get rid of the worst of it. All right, I don't want to mix that up too much. And I'm going to bring in some flour now here to my board. And I'm going to bring this dough onto the flour. It smells nice. Smells nice. Scrape all that off there. We used to go to a lodge in the Redwoods and had some wonderful times there. And every afternoon, they had afternoon tea. And they had their own particular scone recipe. And we'd sit there and have tea out on the patio and some scones. I just took some flour, just kind of going to bring this together. This is, again, very similar to the type of scone that I do. You're not rolling, you're shaping into a round. And I have a measurer here. This needs to be 1.5 inches thick. And I brought something to measure it with so I wouldn't get it wrong. My good friend Grace, when I did the Irish potato bread, and she thought it was too thick. It was supposed to be a particular thickness, and she said, I think you made it too thick. So I have a little measuring gauge here. I'm going to stick it right in there. See, I'm still not thick enough. So we're going to move this a little closer together. That's pretty thick, but that'll make a nice scone. All right, let's see how we're doing now. Nope, got to get up to that red. These are thick. Oh my gosh. I keep patting it and then patting it back out. All right, one more time here. Gosh, really?
You're going to end up with one big
I know,
scone.
I know. I can't believe that. Is that right? Am I right? That's 1.5. Okay, we're going to call that it. We're just going to call that it. That's just nuts. All right. Yeah, there's going to be, I don't know. I mean, I've got a small glass here. I don't know. What would you say? That's 2 inches. Let me see. I can tell you how big this is, and then you'll know how many, it's 2.5 inches, the diameter of this. So I'm just going to stick it here in some flour. And anytime you do biscuits or scones, you don't want to twist it. You just want to go down, just like that, and bring it up. Because then you're not going to, you don't want to seal off those edges. And if you crank it, you're going to seal off those edges. I'm just going to set that there for now. One more on here. Whoops, a little messy there. I have a scraper here. Okay. I don't know. I'll see 2. I might get 7, maybe. Oh, look what I did. I just cranked. I just ground. I'm going to bring this together here. It's hard when you have to bring the dough back together because you don't want to overwork it. You know, you want to try to just keep it as easy or gentle as you can. That's pretty good. Okay, a little bit more. That's 5. 6. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get 7. Maybe I'll even get 8. I don't want to keep working this because it's just going to not be very good if I do that. I think we're just going to go with one more here. Okay, there is that. I'm going to move this aside, and I'm going to bring in my cookie sheet. Move a little of this aside here. All right, I have a parchment sheet here. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to just lay my scones out here. Okay, and then I've got that milk and egg that I did earlier. I'm just going to very lightly tap a little of that on top of each of these scones. Okay, and then one more little flourish, and then they're ready to go into the oven. This, this is Jean Lemond, and they make the most wonderful baking equipment, and this is a shaker, and I'll show it to you after I'm done. So anyway, you're just going to put, oh gosh, I hit the wrong thing. Oh no, what am I doing? I know what I did. It's supposed to shake it. Oh, Jill. Oh, Jill. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Anyway, the thing is you open it up and you put your whatever in there, cocoa or flour or sugar, whatever it is, and you close it up and then you shake, which of course I know, but in the heat of putting this together, okay, enough of that. All right. This is what it's all about, right? Trying different recipes, finding out if are you up to it? Are you up to it? You're up to it. If I'm up to it, you are. These are going into that 425-degree oven. And they're going to bake about 15 minutes. And with that cream or milk and egg and the sugar, they'll get nice and crispy on the outside, and of course, golden brown. And once those are completely done, I'll bring them out, put them on a cooling rack, and then we're going to have some of this. We'll see you back. This kitchen smells so wonderful. The fragrance of these scones, oh, so good. Here are the scones. Now, these took 18 minutes in my oven. And see, nice bottoms there. The recipe called for them to be an inch and a half, the dough to be inch and a half thick. And you saw I kind of fudged just a little bit on that. Also, I had a slanted glass, if you will. Had I had the actual biscuit cutter to go straight down, they would have risen more. But really, these are a lovely scone. Now, you're supposed to rip them with your hands, but I've never had very much luck with that. So we're just going to cut this baby open. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, how nice. Nice. Here you go, Mr. Director. We're going to take a taste of this. It's very tender. Very tender. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
A little strawberry jam and Devonshire cream on that. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Those are delicious.
Yeah, he suggested butter or jam. I said, no, we got to taste them all on natural. So tender. Mm. The flavor. And the outside has got a nice crust on it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Oh my goodness. Well, we've been off to jolly old England here. Great recipe. Really good recipe. I'm going to have to get us biscuit cutters now. This is going to be down into our every week having tea thing. Try it out. As I said, the recipe and instructions are down below the video. Just hit that little word that says more. It'll drop down, and there's the recipe for you. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I make some pretty good stuff, and we're still going around the world in 80 breads. I want to make this thing that's Lebanese, and we're kind of arguing about it, but we'll get that one squared away. And then I still want to go to Czechoslovakia. So we got a lot of breads to check out. Thanks a lot for watching. Tell your friends, subscribe, give me that thumbs up, because I'll tell you what, baby, that helps the algorithms. See you next time.